Alright, so back in January, when Nintendo had their presentation for the Switch, they talked about two things for their online service. One, it was going to cost money. Two, it was apparently going to use some sort of app on your smartphone. It was all very confusing and a little bit concerning. Like, were we actually going to require a smartphone to get online? Well, the good news is, no. People have already been able to get online with their Switches without a smartphone. But still, Nintendo intends to push their smartphone app, and, well, I'm still a little bit concerned, but we'll get to that as we go along. So, yesterday, Nintendo revealed some more information on their plans for their online service for the Switch. Additionally, they revealed their own headset solution for online chatting in games such as Splatoon 2. And I'll get to that part later on in this video, but first let's go over the online service, which first off is apparently coming in 2018. Previously they had announced it would be coming in 2017. Well, the delay is not a big deal and is actually probably a good thing, as we'll get to. So let's see here. This paid service lets Nintendo Switch owners enjoy online multiplayer gaming as well as a dedicated smartphone app that connects to your Nintendo Switch system and helps you connect with friends for online play sessions. Check back for more details on the service before the official launch. So here they are, talking about that smartphone app. What is the deal with it? And no, that's a serious question. What is the deal with it? I want to know more. Well, let's see if they give more. Let's see. Online play on Nintendo Switch. You'll be able to play compatible co-op and competitive games online by signing in with your Nintendo account. Online play will be free for Nintendo account holders until our paid online service launches in 2018. After the free trial period, most games will require a paid online service subscription from Nintendo in order to play online. The service is only for Nintendo Switch. It does not affect online play for features for the Wii U or Nintendo 3DS family of systems. Alright, here's the first problem. We're not going to be able to play online without paying for it. I mean, it's nice that we don't have to worry about paying for it until next year, but still, I would like to be able to play like Mario Kart online without having to pay an additional fee. Now I'm going to go ahead and skip ahead here because there is one nice thing that kind of helps the whole pay for online thing, and that is the pricing. You can pay for 1 month for $4, 3 months for $8, or an entire year for $20. It's worth noting that if you do the math, the 12-month membership will basically amount to less than $2 per month. So, although I don't like the fact that I'm going to have to pay to play these online games, especially when Nintendo has spoiled me and let me play these online games for free in the past, at least it's not going to cost much. Now, admittedly, I'm probably not going to get my Switch online and play online very often, so the 12-month membership is probably not for me. It would not be worth it. That said, after I get Mario Kart, I might play it for a month, and, you know, the $4 for playing Mario Kart online for a month, that would be worth it. And then, of course, maybe in the future, we'd have games like Super Mario Maker 2, which, offhand, I'm not sure will be entirely successful. Not as successful as the original game, because if you had to pay to put your levels online and try other people's levels, there's probably not going to be a lot of people who would accept that. Still though, I'd be willing to pay $4 to play with Mario Maker online. Wouldn't be a big deal to me. Wouldn't pay to do it longer than a month. It'd only be worth 1 month to me. After that, I'm gonna just do what I did with regular Super Mario Maker and just stick it on my shelf and never play it again. Actually, now that I think about it, the possibility of having to pay to use levels and upload levels from Mario Maker 2, which is hypothetical by the way, they haven't actually announced it. But the fact that you would have to pay to do that might actually weed out all the people who create trashy levels. The only people who'd be willing to pay are probably people who'd be willing to put effort into their levels. So, there's a little bit of silver lining to that cloud. Anyway, the next thing of interest is online lobby and voice chat. Here we go with the smart device. Our new dedicated smart device app will connect to Nintendo Switch and let you invite friends to play online, set play appointments, and chat with friends during online matches in compatible games, all from your smart device. I'd rather do none of it from my smart device. Again, I'm really glad that I don't actually need my cell phone to connect online with the Switch. We can just do it with my Wi-Fi router, which sits across the room. But this information really concerns me. Let you invite friends to play. Am I actually going to need a cell phone in order to invite my friends to play games like Splatoon 2? I'm hoping that's not the case, because we already have Mario Kart 8, and as far as I'm aware, you don't need a cell phone to invite your friends to play on that game. And of course, it also mentions chatting with friends during online matches. We'll get to that when we get to the Splatoon thing. A free limited version of this app will be available for download in 2017. That's good, because if we're going to be trying out this online service until 2018, we gotta be able to try it out until 2018. And then the next thing is classic game selection. Subscribers will get to download a compilation of classic titles with added online play, such as Super Mario Bros. 3, Balloon Fight, and Dr. Mario. This actually sounds really cool. The ability to play these games online? Yeah, I'd be down for that. I don't know how often I'd be able to take advantage of that. Like, how many of my friends will be willing to just hop on, like, Dr. Mario, for example? I will say, I kind of like the idea of a compilation of classic titles. That makes it sound like you're not actually going to be downloading one game at a time. Rather, you're going to be downloading a group of games. A groups, plural, apparently. Which is certainly an improvement over the previous virtual consoles where you had to buy each game one at a time, even though you probably already bought those games one at a time on a different virtual console. This sounds like Nintendo's solution for making you not have to rebuy each and every one of these games. Now, it's worth mentioning that earlier this year, Nintendo did have some details on their online service for the Switch, and they talked about the Virtual Console or the Classics game selection, whatever they're going to call it, and they mentioned previously that you'd be able to play these games for a month. And that was really confusing, because is it like, are you only going to be able to play them for a month and then they get shuffled out and you can't play them anymore? Because that would really suck. I'd rather be able to play these games longer for a month. The good news is, no, that is totally not the case. And I'm going to switch over to Kotaku, where they wound up getting a response from Nintendo on this matter. I've got a link in the description if you want to check out their article yourself. And it says, Nintendo confirmed that this monthly plan, the one that I was just talking about, has indeed changed, telling Tokaku, that is hard to say for some reason. Nintendo Switch Online subscribers will have ongoing access to a library of classic games with added online play. Users can play as many of the games as they want, as often as they like, as long as they have an active subscription. I really like this. I have been kind of hoping for a Netflix type of game service from Nintendo because, well, like I said, I'd rather not have to re-buy each and every one of these games again. I'd rather just have all of these games accessible as long as I'm paying for a subscription. I mean, admittedly, this means that you don't technically own these games like you do on the virtual consoles of the past. You only get to play them so long as you're subscribed. But let's be honest here, if you in the past have already owned a Wii, a Wii U, or a 3DS, you've probably already bought most of these games. I am a little curious if it's only going to be games that are multiplayer. Since they're focused on the added online play, does this mean that games like Super Mario Bros. 2, which is a one-player game, will not be available? Now they do provide a little bit more information further on. Nintendo adds, Nintendo Switch Online subscribers will be able to play a wide variety of classic games, including Super Mario Bros. 3, Balloon Fight, and Dr. Mario. More games will be announced at a later date. At launch, the classic game library will include NES games. Super NES games continue to be under consideration, but we have nothing further to announce at this time. So, yeah, no Super NES games yet, but I'm sure they'll happen. I mean, I can't be the only one who would love to play Super Mario Kart online with somebody. That game might have the slipperiest racing controls I've ever seen, but it's still a fun time. Especially that battle mode. I also wonder if this classic game thing will ever include more than just NES and Super NES, like Nintendo 64. Nintendo 64 was a big multiplayer console. Surely they're going to take some of those games online. I mean, apparently Nintendo can't seem to create a new Mario Party worth a dang, so let's just go back to the original 3 and play those online. I also wouldn't mind seeing games available for other consoles other than Nintendo consoles. One of the best things about the Wii's, the original Wii's Virtual Console, is it wasn't just Nintendo consoles. They also had Sega Master System games, they had Sega Genesis / Mega Drive games, they even had TurboGrafx 16 games. Which, by the way, is how I originally experienced Wonder Boy: The Dragon's Trap. On the Wii, it was retitled as Dragon's Curse, but it's basically the same game. I loved it, and I'm definitely looking forward to playing the remake. Which is out, by the way, in case any of you with a Switch want to try it. Or Steam, also on Steam. Anyway, back to the online service for the Switch. Let's see here, Nintendo eShop deals. Special offers for subscribers may include discounts on select digital games and content. Well, that might be useful. If you're willing to pay for that $20 every year, maybe you'll make it back in discounted games. I mean, if you buy games enough on the eShop, you're definitely going to make your money back at some point. Or I would assume, after a year, it's bound to happen. And then scroll down some more. Enjoy online services for free until the paid services official launch in 2018. It's worth pointing out that they just say 2018. They don't actually say when in 2018. So, kinda curious when the official launch will be. Maybe we'll get a little bit more information at E3. I mean, I'm kinda hoping we'll get some more information at E3, especially in regards to that app that they are really trying to push. I really hope that I don't need to use a smartphone to invite my friends in Splatoon 2. Because if I do, I'm gonna tell you right now, not gonna play Splatoon 2. That is a deal breaker. And then down towards the bottom, they have a graph showing all the stuff that you get, depending on whether you're paying for the service or you're not. So let's see here, make the most of your Nintendo Switch. The paid service lets you take your gaming up a notch with online multiplayer and exclusive benefits. Standard online features such as system and game updates will be free for all Nintendo Switch users. It would be really dumb if you actually had to pay for system updates. If anybody actually did that, it would be suicidal. It'd be as dumb as paying for a map update in Breath of the Wild that should have been a free update since it doesn't actually change the game. But I digress. Anyway, online gameplay, you gotta pay for it, but of course it's free until 2018. Gotta pay for the online lobby and voice chat app. I hope it's a voice chat app and not an lobby and voice chat app. Classic game selection, product name subject to change. It's obviously not going to be the Virtual Console if they're talking about some new name that they're trying to come up with a better name for. Nintendo eShop deals, all of these things are dealt with the online service. Meanwhile, access to the Nintendo eShop is always going to be free. You can still register and manage friends for free, share screenshots to social media, access to Nintendo Switch Parental Controls app. Okay, while we're on the subject of the parental controls app, why an app? Why can't we set the parental controls on the Switch itself? You've been able to do that on other systems, you never needed an app then. I mean, it's not a thing that I'm really concerned too much about it because I'm not a parent, but it's still kinda dumb. That said, I can understand why some features would be used in an app, for example, keeping track of your child's playtime, seeing if they're playing a game, remotely turning off their Switch while they're playing it. Yeah, that's a thing. But if I just wanted to block my child from playing M-rated games, I should just be able to do that in the system itself. No, well, at least the Parental Controls app is free. Anyway, that is all the information in regards to the online service. Next, let's talk about this mess. This is Nintendo's solution to voice chat in Splatoon 2. So let's go over what we're dealing with here. So you got your Nintendo Switch there in the corner, and from there you've got some sort of Switch dongle plugged into what I assume to be the headphone jack in your Switch. And from the Switch dongle you go not only to your headset, but also to a smartphone. Now, I'm kinda glad that there is a headset solution. I'm glad that Nintendo has finally provided one, but this is definitely a mess, and from what I've seen, nobody on the internet likes this. Because this implies that if you want to voice chat on Splatoon 2, this is the setup you're going to be needing. And also there's concern over the length of the cords. They probably won't be that short, but supposedly they're still going to be pretty dang short. Now, I would like to alleviate some fears because supposedly this setup is not actually required for voice chat on Splatoon 2. Supposedly this is so you can just hear the game audio while you're voice chatting, because under normal circumstances you would have your headset plugged into your smartphone, which you use to voice chat, and your headphones would be kind of blocking the sound of the game coming from the TV speakers, and this way you can have the game audio from the game coming into your headset, or something like that. Still though, I have some problems with this. First off, why do we need a smartphone to voice chat? Why can't I just plug the headset into my Switch and voice chat like that? I shouldn't need a smartphone to voice chat. I shouldn't need a smartphone at all. Again, I've got a perfectly good wireless router sitting across the room. All I should have to do is plug a headset into my Switch and then connect my Switch to my router. And that's it. No smartphone required. I don't like the idea of being tethered to a smartphone. I'm really hoping that this is just for gaming on the go, because if you're gaming on the go, you're going to have to be able to connect to something. If it turns out that you actually do need a smartphone in order to voice chat, screw that noise, I'm hopping on Skype. And in any case, this thing is almost worthless anyway. You know why? You can only voice chat with friends. You cannot communicate with strangers. Nintendo's trying to protect us all from the people who swear and stuff. They're like worried for our children or something. Mind your own business, Nintendo. If I think somebody is being offensive, I'll just mute them. Don't just assume that I don't want to talk to any online strangers, especially in a team-based game like Splatoon 2. This was a really big problem with Splatoon 1. In order to communicate with your teammates in that game, you had to like press a button in order to say a pre-built message like this way and that sort of thing. But I've never seen anybody actually use that feature. In a game where you're supposed to be on a team and cooperate to beat your opponents, voice chat is important. The way things are now, nobody is actually playing on a team. Everybody always runs off to do their own thing. Not once in Splatoon 1 did I see any sort of cooperation between teammates. You need to be able to communicate with your teammates. But anyway, that's pretty much it. Basically, this headphone setup is only so that you can hear the game audio in your headset, and in regards to their online stuff, I'm just really concerned about that app. Hopefully we'll get a little bit more information on it at E3.